Thank you, and welcome to Conversations with Love. Today we have the most extraordinary Reverend Dr.Edwige being author of You're Not Crazy, You Are Awakening, The Journey to Self-Discovery, Soul Purpose, Joy, and a Very Abundant Life. I am so honored to be moderating this gathering today. Edwige has many great and wonderful things to bring to us today. I asked her to come for the whole of January on Conversations with Love because our very good bodies is the theme for this month. And we all know this is our vessel. This is our vehicle. This is our grounding cord with Mother Earth and the planet and our connections to the Most High, God, Source, whatever you call the creator of all that is. And what Edwige is going to lead us through is a reconnection and a deeper connection to our very good bodies so that we can be in our own presence throughout this magnificent time on planet Earth. Dr. Edwige's heart meditation, which she does at least once a month, and whenever she is called, because an open heart is our key to stay in our very good bodies and to be able to engage all of our senses, all of our energy centers, and all of our connections to Mother Earth and to Source. It's all one anyway. So today, on this January 11th, 2021, we're going to focus on the mental bodies, because mastery of our mental mind is key to be able to see, hear, feel, and know the truth of our existence, and to assist us in making great choices moving forward. There may be many surprises to come, because with this magnificent woman who is so very connected, it's like a box of chocolates. You know it's going to be yummy, but you don't know which one you're going to get. First version. And it's really important to remember that our body is the Earth and the galaxy. Everything is here. I mean, if you think about it, the human body is all states of matter at once, multiple systems, organs, systems, cells, and every cell is a universe.
We are a universe.
With what exactly is grounding or earthing? And the obvious idea is having one's feet on solid ground and are walking with certainty. It also means being fully present both physically and spiritually in this dimension. I'm going to just repeat that. It's really important. It also means being fully present both physically and spiritually in this dimension. So without any more talking from me, I would like to turn it over, allow her to lead us on.
Well, thank you, Lee. I appreciate you and I love you. Thank you for having me on this day. And how special is it that it's a 111 day, of course. Everything I do is always about sacred numbers. And so it's really important that we have a clear understanding of what you just read. Because on this journey of expansion, it's so easy during our meditations and during everything to feel ourselves expand, to feel ourselves out there. And yet, it is to bring it all in to this physicality and to anchor heaven here in earth. And so that, trust me, is the challenge, because it is a sincere and true mastery that one has to go through to be able to sustain that. It's one thing to be able to do it every now and then. It's another thing to be able to sustain it, because that is a part of the new way of being and operating in the new timeline of the Aquarian age. It's air. So it's very easy to feel yourself floating around. In fact, in my transmission that I was doing yesterday, and I do them every Sunday, um, uh, one of the gentlemen said, I feel like I'm bouncing like a bouncy ball. Of course, I moved everyone into that new timeline of peace, prosperity, love, and heaven on earth. And so in those new higher frequencies, it's buoyant. And so you have to work with that. Now, I want to cover something else that you said, because you said we're dealing with the mental body today. And it's really interesting, because just yesterday in this transmission, something so profound came through that I have to share it. And hopefully I can recall it effectively, because when I'm in that, someone is actually recording it, because I don't know what has come out. It's gone once it's out. So I'm going to do my best to recall, because you speak of the mental body. And so in the old energy, in the old timeline, we had this beautiful thing, a buffer, right? And we struggled with that. We thought, well, why can't I manifest faster? Why can't I manifest? Because we struggled with our mental body. We struggled with the old paradigm of lack and fear and guilt and doubt and shame and pain. And we didn't do enough work to transmute. And so that was a beautiful gift that we had, because we had to be clear. We had to get clear. We had to stay focused in order to manifest, so that we wouldn't manifest the things on default, the things that we really don't desire, but that we're so busy in our monkey mind thinking about all the time. You see, again, let's go back even another step further. This idea of ascension, there are initiations that one must go through. You are an initiate of the ascension process. And so in that first initiation is of the mastery of the physical body. Think about it. It's what's going to house you. It houses all these higher aspects of you that are just waiting for you to open up and to move in. Trust me on that. And it's electrical, it's very energetic, and it is beyond words. And so you work with that physical, and we will go more into the mastery of the physical a little bit later. But then you have the mental body, and you have to master that mental body. That mental body says it's running the show. Your brain and all its entrenchments, your mind and all its entrenchments thinks it's running the show. And your conscious being needs to understand that you consciously run the show. And so you have to begin to think. You have to begin to separate yourself from the mind. The mind has been programmed. It has its entrenchments, those brain, all those grooves of everything that you've taken on in this lifetime and previous lifetimes, things that you've resolved, things you've not resolved. And so you consciously have to be able to say, yes, mind, yes, brain, this is how we did that 10 times before. But now, as a conscious creator, now that I am mastering this mental body, you no longer run the show. And yes, we failed. We did it this way 10 times. But now, thank you for bringing this to my attention. Oh, I love you. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Now it's time for me to choose consciously how I'm going to move through this. So be it bad relationships or so-called bad relationships, because everything you have chosen through default or intent to bring you the lessons that you chose to experience in this time-space reality. And the story, that's how it works. So when you consciously now start to pay attention to those signals, that's what the mind is telling you. It's giving you a signal. Hey, this is what we used to do. Are we still doing it this way? Or are you going to choose to do it a different way? Now that's when you start to become the master of the mental body. And so we had that beautiful buffer, if you will, right, in the old timeline. But we've crossed over and we've just entered this new timeline. We've just entered this Aquarian age. We've entered this divine feminine. We've entered this beautiful stage of our awareness. And so, because it's a higher frequency, it goes by quicker. So, you know, when you say a low vibrational word, and I still think that's in my book someplace, when you use a low vibrational word like can't, it's low and slow and it drags you down. And so you can stay in that funky energy for a really long time and you don't even know why you're in that funky energy, but you just did it. And it's like, how did I get here? And why can't I pull myself out of it? It's because it's low and heavy. So those words can't and no, they mess with the mind and they bring you down in vibration. And so in that, can you manifest anything that you truly desire from your heart? Absolutely not. So that's the old energy, and it was a slow energy. Now that we've crossed the timeline, that bridge, if you will, it's a higher vibration. Listen to the word yes, and certainly you can feel the energy. You can feel the vibration of those lighter words. So these lighter vibrational words are faster. They're higher in frequency. So that means you must constantly be in the awareness consciously of using those choice of words, the power of your words. Words backwards is swords. So it cuts like a knife. Is a reason why it cuts like a knife when you're using those lower vibrational words. So you have to understand the spell of your words. And so as we move into this higher vibration, this higher frequency, what they showed me yesterday is that absolutely beautiful thing, and I'm going to do my best to remember it. Because we're now in these higher frequencies and we have the opportunity to manifest instantly. And let me tell you, my husband and I are manifesting things instantly. It's like, whoops. And so now what they gave us yesterday was a new type of buffer. So you're going to feel how you feel in these beautiful light frequencies. And what they showed me as I was traveling into the sun yesterday, and I was one in my heart and balanced and one with the sun and these magnificent energies coming through. And I mean, they were just reaming through my body. Someone said that I was gold as these energies were reaming through me. And I was just in it and absorbed in it. And it just pulled me in and I started working on the sun, believe it or not. And so in the moment that I let a distraction come in the moment when I thought, what are we doing? Or the slightest distraction, I was right back out. And I was held out. And then I'd let go. I'd hear surrender and peace. And then the sun would make this adjustment to my body because, you know, it's moving. And all of a sudden I close my eyes. My body would contort and move itself. I'd open my eyes and I'd be locked and fixated back on the sun again, as long as I stayed in that place of love. So the buffer is because you do not want to manifest things now that you don't really desire, but that time buffer is going away. So what it's going to do, it's going to allow you that as soon as you're outside of your heart and not operating from that place, it's going to, if you will, slow up time. Feel that. It's going to slow it up for you and allow a bubble so that you can work through your thoughts so that you don't create what you don't want. So you're going to feel yourself shift and you're going to feel yourself feel a little, I'm not going to say low, but you're going to feel the difference between being in this magnificent energetic energy and not. And that's your buffer as we begin to enter this timeline, because we must become masters, dear ones. We must become masters. And so they're going to allow us this little buffer so that we don't begin to manifest things that we don't want at all, because they're going to come instantly now. Does that make sense? So you're going to feel it. you're going to actually feel yourself tweak just a little, and that's your window. Again, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of the mental body and beginning to become aware of yourself and your thoughts 24 hours a day. I don't even, when I go to quote unquote, go to sleep at night, I lay and I hover in this place and I observe myself. I can observe if I go into a lucid state and have a vision. I can observe if I'm going into some sort of dream sequence. I observe it all. I can observe my breath. I observe when I float and leave my body. I'm observing how I'm floating in the colors and the frequencies and the vibrations. I'm observing all of that. Then I observe how I move back into my body. And then I will actually take a quick breath and I'm back in, and then I can get up. I cannot get up before I do that because then I'm not fully in, anchored back in this time, you see, because I can move. And so I have to come back and feel that moving back into this physical vessel, and then I can get up. If I get up before that, things are still moving. I can see them moving. I can see the distortion. I can literally see like a glitch where I'm like, okay, where am I? And I glitch back in. I can actually even now, which is just phenomenal. So after we do this transmission, we'll be sitting in my kitchen and, getting some sustenance to help to, and I don't even ground or anchor. And I know we share that in the book, but if you could imagine, I now have up to my calves in Mother Earth, and I extend all the way out into the cosmos, and I'm all the way this pillar of light. And now it just expands out, and I do my work as this generator. And when I'm done, I come back in and I'm just back in. I'm not coming back down. I'm there on in earth and I'm in the cosmos, all as this pillar of light. And I can feel it. And that's a new way of being. And that's how you have to get used to functioning for anyone who is experiencing that. That's how it is now.
All right, I'm going to ask you to just pause for a second because not everybody made it on time, which is I understandable, but we have one guest here and I'd like to know if she has any questions. Do you have any questions? You can just raise your hand or unmute yourself if you'd like to speak to Edwige. Ask any questions at all? No? Okay. All right. No problem. No problem. Well, then I won't interrupt again.
Oh,
Let's
no,
keep
you
going.
can.
Well, this is,
Do you have a question?
well,
I,
it's so much
I,
clarity.
I'm new to Dr. Edwige. I've only just come across her in December, so I am in a learning process.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, okay. So
And
then
you know
what
what?
if
And that's
we,
a question right there.
right there.
So because what are we learning? You see, that's the question. We're learning how to become our divine selves once again. We're learning to reconnect to the divine part of who we are, you see. And so because we forgot that, and it doesn't matter your age. My mom just turned 91. And so it's a constant learning and remembering. And so as you peel away the layers of shame, doubt, pain, all those things that we took on lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, those because we came forward to experience growth. And if you can imagine in this bardo realm, this heavenly realm where we are divine angels and all sorts of beautiful, benevolent beings, how do we expand? We're star seeds, we're all these things. And so this being the free will zone, we said, let's come forward because I want to expand so much that I'm going to go through this chaos because this chaos is going to give me so many beautiful lessons. And then in the right and ordained time, I'm going to remember who I am. Wow. And then I get to return to my divinity. That's what you're learning. You're learning that those lessons in all of those lifetimes, and you may recall lifetimes, you may see them, back in, oh gosh, 2004, 2005, I started going through all sorts of different experiences. where I was starting to get visitations as an adult, which, I got them as a child. And so they were showing me all of these different lifetimes and different things that I had mastered in whatever lifetime it was, Lemurian lifetimes, many, many lifetimes as the master coming in for those golden ages. And so I was always in those incarnations of the golden ages to bring them forward. Who I am. And so it is to remember who you are, and wherever you are is divine and perfect. You see, it's divine and perfect. You take your time and you love yourself in the process. And that's the key, is this self-love and self-compassion for yourself where you are. You don't beat yourself up. You're not getting it wrong. You're getting it exactly how you're supposed to get it. And it takes you, however, time, that's irrelevant, because it's all going on at the same time, you see. So you're waking up and you're not. You're waking up and you're not. It's all happening at the same time. So you're getting it. And that's what you have to remember. So you do your little processes, We understand, we meditate, we understand, we pray, we understand those things. We understand that we are aware of our thoughts. We become aware of our feelings and our emotions. We understand that the emotional body is the largest body. What does that tell you? Well, then that tells you that's where most of your stuff to address is, in the emotional body, right? And so those are the things that we're learning so that we can begin to tap into who we really are, these divine extensions of the whole. We are divine extensions of the whole. I love to say, if you could imagine that the sun is God, prime source creator, and those rays that emanate, we are those rays. So as we agree to come forward and to experience this thing that we call life, all of our experiences cause those rays to expand. Those rays grow warmer. Those rays get bigger. And that's us. And that feeds into the sun, and the sun feeds into us. So if you could imagine that and know that wherever you are is perfect, and your choices, your expressions, your experiences are causing those rays, your ray, to expand and grow. And then the whole prime source creator is getting to feel that creation as you. Yeah, so it has to be divine. Matokia niatisha beanoni, niadisha batobekeniano, niashitopekeniani, atichikaya patoria, ebepenianoni kichikaya matosasa, yeah, turkini adimi anaraki papinio toriatichi kosasa. For there is no separation, and that is what you are here to recall, that you are completely connected to the source. It is within, it is without, me it is above, it is below, me nakiatoria tichinikokia sabia. And you can breathe right into it. It's as simple as breathing into it and moving into that beautiful sacred chamber of your heart, and allowing that sacred space of your heart to now communicate with your brain. You see, that conscious heart then gets to tell the brain what to do, not vice versa. The heart is in charge when you begin to do this work and become the master. And it gets to tell the brain, this is the thought we have now. This is how we do this now. We are co-creators with Source, and we get to create our paradise how we see it. So that's what this is all about, returning you to you. And there's levels and there's processes that happen, the activation of the Kundalini, the activation of different levels of your light bodies, the moving in of light bodies, the opening up of the chakras above your head so that your soul can merge back into you, your higher self taking over, your beautiful white light body moving in. Which then allows for your monad to begin its descension into you. And that's when you become one with your God self within this physical form. Feel that. And then that beautiful heart turns on like a generator, and it just sends out that beautiful energy and love to all. So just for a moment, breathe it in. Gaya no kiate bibanoi shira la bibianoni kiate jano. Manin she ashe atoshe ni amuro ase bikayo noye shishe ni kusasa. And feel that beautiful undulation of you moving in the flow of all that is. This is where you are to live and have your being. And so your work is to find your way to that place and live and operate from that place 24 hours a day. And as soon as you sense and feel that you're not there, that buffer kicks in to allow you to move back into it so that you create from that place peace and love and power, prosperity and joy and perfect health. In fact, I did a transmission several weeks ago where I went into heaven and opened up the gates and literally brought down the true abundance. The true abundance, oh my goodness, from the higher realms of heaven. It was magnificent to attach into it and bring it down. And the true abundance is your true divine grace, your true divine power, your true divine ability to create from your heart space. It is divine health. It is divine perfection. It is divine well-being. It is divine grace. It is divine peace. It is divine love. It is divine prosperity. It is divine service. And in that, all that you desire and require to fulfill your destiny and to be of service is given to you instantly when you can be in that humble place. It is just that simple. And so those gates have opened for us to receive our true abundance. And in so doing, as we still need resources and money, if you will, that is unfolding in a most graceful way as well. And when you move into that abundant prosperity, you will see that it's simply a tool for you to create the peace, the joy for more. That's it. I trust that answers her question that she didn't know she had.
Well done, Susan.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, so one little question that came up for me is this physical body. Mm-hmm. Every one of us has it. What are some of the tools to be gentler, kinder with the body catching up with, oh my goodness, they're actually caring about themselves. Oh my goodness, they actually love me. They actually think I'm worth something, because I'm just going to use the metaphor of how we've treated planet Earth, because how we've treated planet Earth is how we treat our bodies. There's no, it's the choices have not been stellar, to say the least. And our bodies can rejuvenate and rebuild themselves entirely within the perfect structures that they are. Like, I remember reading a quote from Paramahansa Yogananda, who has the self-realization fellowships around the world, and he brought the good news to the West from India, where it has been a way, this process you're discussing has been a way of life for many indigenous peoples across time, space, and reality for as long as we have existed, which is infinite.
Correct. So your question has so many different levels to it. So let me see, because, I'm only in the now time. And so honestly, it's hard for me to even remember part of what you said in the beginning, because I'm only right here. And that's something that you have to get used to. And so, yes, the physical body, just like Mother Earth, has been abused. The reality of that is this, that you see, when those reptilians showed up, if you will, they wanted to change the program. They recognized the indigenous, and you see, the indigenous already honored Mother Earth and were one with Mother Earth and recognized the divine mother. And so that was just fine for all the indigenous that were already here. When the reptilians showed up, and we're not going to go into different seedings and races that showed up, there's no point in any of that, because we're all a melting pot right now. But upon that last seeding, and then the reptilians showed up, they wanted to control and created some sort of slave planet, if you will, and started to realize that they could feed off of the beings here. And so they created this hate. They created all the imbalances, and then they started to create false narratives from a very long time ago that started to separate and show, oh, no, the indigenous, you're not doing it right. We need to have religion. We need to have this. We need to have that, instead of just honoring and knowing the truth that we already knew. And so by these false programs coming in, it started to pull us away from who we truly are. And by these false programs coming in, Mother Earth couldn't sustain. And so she, if you will, fell to be able, because of her love, to support her children who fell and didn't realize that they weren't operating from that divine space any longer, you see. And so now it's time to recognize that the indigenous probably had it right. And we don't really need a so-called religion and this, because source is us. Wake up, turn it on, pay attention. Even when Yeshua came, he did not come to be your savior. He came to be your teacher, just like Buddha. And he said, the least among you can do this. He said, go within to the stillness and don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. That meant to be still, to go into your church, which is in your heart, and create and manifest and think and be from that space. Again, attempting to help you reconnect to you as a divine being, as an indigenous, as one with the earth and the cosmos, you see. And so we can't hold it against ourselves. We just have to, part of the process, let it go. Part of the process, just to begin to honor yourself, to pay attention to your body, because the body, I tell you, is a fascinating thing. And what they will do for me, I go into this holding space where I can see this emerald green energy encase me, and I can feel myself being infused with these frequencies, and see, instant, I can just tap into it. And in that space, I am perfect, whole, and complete. In that space, I move back into youth and vitality. In that space, I see myself as the slim and trim 103-pound being that I am, in a firm, youthful form. And in that space, I regenerate. Every cell is new and beautiful. And every new cell now moves into every organ, every gland, and every system is now recalibrated to newness, to divine perfection. Beautiful. And now I'm whole. Do you see? So again, It's about you becoming consciously aware of, okay, we know what's not working. We see what's going on in the world. We recognize the matrix. That's all fine. We had to recognize it so that we could stand in our sovereignty and say, you know what? I get it. I actually chose to come forward this time because this chaos, this craziness, would cause me to say, enough, no more. I'm now standing in my own God power, and I turn on my light of my divinity. I am the monad. I am love. I am the light. I am source divine. I am. And so that's the process, dear ones. It's to rise up through all, recognizing what it taught you, right? And the mental body and the emotional body and the physical body. And then bring it all back to your heart, where you know through the alchemy that you're perfect, whole, and complete. And now you begin to see that consciously, and your daily prayers begin to speak it. You know, every night when I go to bed, the alchemist is within my temple, constantly coining new and beautiful baby cells. The spirit of youth is within my temple, the human form divine, and all is well. Santi, Santi, Santi. For within me is the perfect form, the form divine, and I am now all that I desire to be, and I visualize it daily until I bring it into existence. Do you see? Bring it into existence. See yourself as you desire to be. Whole, every organ, every gland, every system perfect. Speak to your heart. Thank you, heart, for beating beautifully and perfectly and rhythmically. Thank you, my blood, for being thin, filled with oxygen and moving through my arteries, moving through my veins, moving through my beautiful body, carrying nutrition and oxygen to every aspect and to every system in my body. Thank you. Thank you, my thyroid, for functioning properly. Thank you for my hormonal system being balanced and I'm full with life force, energy, and vitality. Thank you. Do you feel the lightness of it moving into you as you speak to your cells? Thank you, my cells. Thank you, my glands. Thank you, my pineal gland, for opening up this beautiful connection to source. It can never be closed. Thank you, my pituitary. I have my third eye open. I choose to see. And as I see the eyes, I see with love. I see with compassion. I see with honor. I see with grace. I see that nothing is broken, that all is exactly where it's supposed to be as it is moving towards more light. And as it moves towards more light, things get left behind, things get discarded, things get transmuted, right? And all those things, all the baggage, and be it the people, be it the government, be it whatever that baggage looks like, it's being kicked and clean and cleared. Mother Earth is doing it. The cosmos is doing it. We are doing it. And so you have to see yourselves victorious. In fact, it was so very interesting yesterday in this transmission. I'll tell you, again, moving into that beautiful higher timeline. Oh my goodness, Lee, it was fascinating. All of the kingdoms showed up. All of the kingdoms, the elementals, and I mean the blue avians, everybody showed up rejoicing and said, America is how they said it, is victorious. You made it. And now it's going to start to filter out and you're going to start to see it. And as the America made it, so now will all the other countries. It happened yesterday. It was remarkable in this transmission and to see these beings. In fact, one of the elementals was in my backyard and I took a picture of her. She was just the cutest little thing, had her little bitty legs crossed. I mean, they're like this. Her legs were standing there and even my husband saw her. I'm like, dear, do you see her? Beautiful. I'm like, are you a fairy? Some elemental just standing there. And I'm like, hello. And so you see, we are victorious in this effort. That's where our focus needs to be. How everything plays out it's playing out, it is divine. It is being orchestrated from a higher place because it is our destiny. It is the destiny of this planet to now make her ascension. And she is in the process of it. And all the other planets, cosmos, beings of light are loving it and supporting it. And one of the transmissions a couple of months ago, as I went to the Council of 12, wow, as I am a member of the council, we said, we have heard the cries of the many. Wow. And we will no longer allow the few to control the many. The dispensations have been made, and we will assist. And then I saw the fleets going into their positions. And then I heard that they were galactic wars going on. That's how real this is, folks. That's how real this is. And so know that all you have to do is to continue to stay in your hearts and in gratitude, knowing that we are victorious, knowing that heaven is here on earth now. It is my birthright and I claim it. And no one, no thing has power over me ever again. Not a reptilian, not a government, nothing ever, not the deep state, not the cabal, not the whatever you want to call it, central banking system. They're all a part of that system that is going away. It must collapse. So do not go into fear as it does, for it is our beautiful awakening and now stepping into that new time where it is of love and peace and joy and grace and giving and sharing and oneness. Oneness, for the few can no longer control the many. Done. Only that which is new and beautiful and perfect and in its proper form, its proper geometric form of the divine, of the Most High, comes out of the wash. Yeah.
Susan's sending you a note. Did you see it?
No.
Go ahead and unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, you know, my eyes are still kind of wonky from 3 hours of the sun.
Anyway, God will provide for us.
God is providing for us.
God is providing for us, yes.
So you have to speak it in the present tense.
Okay.
Because where you are is here and now. There is no future without you being here and now, correct?
Okay. Oh, you're right.
All right. So if you're not mindful of what it is that you desire and require of this energy here and now, how do you expect it to show up?
I got you. Thank you.
So you are in vitality and youth and prosperity and perfect health now, for that is who you truly are here and now. And so you have to begin to see, feel, and know it here and now. And everything about you has to vibrate to that here and now. So when you go into your meditations, you pull into your heart of peace and your purity here and now. Everything else is the illusion that you are in the washer cleaning away. You're welcome.
Any other questions? Anybody else have any other questions? I want to ask another question. I have one. It just came up. Is the light language that you've been gifted and you have mastered, is it a communication tool to all of these parts of our body that are connected to
Absolutely.
the whole? Okay.
And it's so fascinating because, you know, I started spontaneously speaking when when she, the mother, descended into me in 2015. I stood up speaking light language, and that divine mother was just so upset over how the planet had been treated and humanity. It was so very interesting to observe that part. She was escorted in by the Council of 12. And so I've been speaking that language ever since, and it continues to morph, it continues to expand, and different tones and vibrations and frequencies come through. So it is dependent upon where I am, who I'm communicating with. If I'm bringing in a transmission from the cosmos, bringing it into Mother Earth, or sending it out to humanity, or speaking directly with someone, it shifts. It's fascinating to observe because I have absolutely no idea what's coming out of my mouth. I open it and I speak it. I could be speaking it now instead of these words. It's one with. And so it speaks to you, the physical person, at a cellular level, at a spiritual level. And so it goes in, and if you get images, you can get images from it. You might have an overstanding and an understanding of it, but it's moving through your body. It will clear and activate and turn on your divine blueprint, your divine potential. It will speak to that God part of you and bring that part of you out when it is time. And then it will go in and continually work to calibrate you and to bring you to that place that you're supposed to be. That's the word I'm hearing, is sort of like our agreement. The mother, right? She wants her children home.
Can I say something or ask something?
Yes.
Do you believe, or do you think that the tones change because you may elevate into a different harmonic?
So now this is a beautiful question, and I'm going to give you a good example of this. So for example, on Sundays when my team, because Source has provided me a physical team to help me to come back into my body, to ground, to send the frequencies to Mother Earth. So when I work on each of them, because they've been given dispensations so that they can be around me because the energy is so strong. What is so fascinating is I will feel myself tap into them, and where they are vibrationally, I will move, and I will move to that frequency of them so that I'm not too high up and that I don't fry them. And then I go into light language and a transmission for them. And then when it's time for another person, like if I were to bring my husband into the room, I then feel my body, literally, it takes me to a different frequency for that person. And then they get the transmission. So yes, I am able to move up and down the scale of frequencies, depending where that soul is, to give them what is required for them in that moment to bring them to the next step or level. Wow, confirmation. See, I have no control. It is what it is, you see. It just is. And you get to the point of complete and absolute surrender. I know who I am, and I'm all right with that. I'm okay with being in these frequencies 24 hours a day. I'm okay with feeling like I'm not fully in my body because I'm expanded and sending out these frequencies 24 hours a day. I'm okay with that. Spirit has provided me the comfort of that with the people around me to support me. Literally in the transmissions yesterday, my husband and the other gentleman that were here had to hold me up because every time the sun, the sun is constantly, we're in that movement. And every time I went into the transmissions for that 2 or 3 hours, I would open my eyes and be directly into it. And they'd have to hold me in that place because my body had become so weak from doing it for so many hours. And so, yes, it's a movement based on wherever you are, because it's so electrical and it's so energetic. I mean, you'll see pictures where my hands dematerialized. So I have video of me dematerializing. You'll see pictures of lights above my head and things moving in and beings standing with me. And so we have to be able to gauge that person to not fry them, correct? To not give them more than that they can handle, because this isn't supposed to push you. This is supposed to assist you. To the degree that you're willing, to the degree that you're open, is to the degree that you receive.
Yes.
Make sense?
One of the things that we had talked about we began the show reading from your book, You're Not Crazy.
Yeah.
You're waking up. You're awakening.
You're awakening. Yeah.
So, and you'd mentioned earlier how your body is an extension of the planet, and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
And would it be fair to say every living being is?
That's a really good question. Every living being with a soul is the answer. Because not all creatures on this planet have souls, you see. We have grays, we have hybrids, we have reptilians walking around, and they are soulless. Okay. Enough of that, because that's a whole different conversation. But those with souls, yes. Yes, indeed. Of course, they can do the work and get a soul, because that dispensation actually has been given to them as well. But most are choosing not to. But that's okay. They get reabsorbed and start over in their right and appropriate time. For the Creator is the creator of all, you see. Yeah.
We're almost out of time, and I want to make sure that everyone on the call knows that this evening Edwige has her monthly heart meditation where you can experience.
Oh, yes.
And she's.
There are no words to describe it.
No, I just know that the experience. You feel as if you're in the presence of a teacher who sees only you, and yet there are thousands. And so,
isn't it interesting? You
really
feel like I'm speaking directly to you,
yes.
And yet, yes, there are many. It's fascinating, and it's a beautiful. You see, it's one thing to say, move into your heart, be happy, and be there. That's wonderful, but some people actually need a direction on how to get there. And so twice a week, I literally walk you into your heart, and I guide you into your heart step by step by step, so that you know how to get there. And we meet usually twice a month, and each time it expands to something beyond words. I, again, have no idea what's going to transform, except that you will be transformed.
For me, the biggest takeaway today is see yourself victorious.
Amen. You're the creator of it. And so if you don't see yourself already victorious, if you don't see yourself already sovereign, if you don't see yourself already divine, already of service, already godly, already holy, then when will you? And how can you? If you're creating here and now, then I am holy here and now. I am divine here and now. I am perfect, whole, and complete here and now. And so with grace and ease, I transmute anything within my physical body, mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body that's not quite in alignment with me, the divine, here and now. Transmute, transmute by the violet fire, all causes and cores not of God's desire. I am a being of cause alone. The cause is love, the sacred tone. And it is transmuted out. You see, this is how you live as a conscious being. You have to be aware of yourself 24 hours a day.
E chichido benini a shupai ni a nunya stua, e che penia nonia stua, e che paggiori a macusayatini a morashini nonia ticini ku mamma, e pepeni nonia ticini ku yashemi a mamma, e che ponori a ticini ku sasimi a maroke a bia no daci shino rosa papia, e che a noni a pipini a noni a shoa. Ashoa, Amia Noia Comia Sa. Mega Nuni Shichi to Potini Amoru Sebi, Mamma Yatomi. Yatomi. Yatomi Amia Maruku Yachini Toria Tichini Kuse Sabi. Matukuni Asta. Makushkai matoniha. Tete nokua asta mushtote.